Let us continue our quick watercolor practice. Today we will be painting this particular scene from imagination. We will be using mainly the wet on wet concepts for the background. Then we will be also introducing other techniques like wet on dry and some splattering and some smudging, etc. to complete this painting. Hi friends, I am Vanidas Mangathil and let us learn watercolors together. I am using a cold pressed watercolor paper around 300 GSM, 100% cotton, and the brand that I am using is an Indian brand called Chitrapach. Okay, and the brush that I am using is synthetic squirrel imitation mop brush from an Indian brand which is called Stationery. Okay, I am wetting the paper, almost a full area of the paper I am wetting, and I am waiting for a few seconds so that some of the water should be absorbed by the paper, and it is maybe 60-70% wet, 60% wet. I don't know how to measure it, yeah, but I think you understand it. Okay, so at this point I am mixing cerulean blue and burnt umber and a little bit of crimson I will be using. It's a mix of cerulean blue, then burnt umber and crimson lake, crimson red. Okay, so it is a grayish blue kind of a thing, slightly purplish. Okay, and I am applying this on the wet paper. Okay, so I'm leaving some area paper white because that will give some kind of a lighting effect through the clouds. Okay, so that is the idea, and the brushwork is somewhat random. Okay, it should after the spread it should look like some clouds. That is the idea. Okay, and it is not a well planned one. I'm just listening to my inner suggestions, and I'm just following that. Okay, so some of these cloud suggestion. I'm using a smaller mop brush now. Again, it is a synthetic squirrel imitation mop brush. You can use any soft mop brush for this. Okay, you don't have to use the same brand that I am using. I'm just mentioning it because I used to get a lot of questions. Okay, right now again I am using the same colors for a darker version. Okay, slightly thicker consistency. Okay, and this will be used for darkening some of the clouds. Okay, still the paper is wet, damp to be frank, so that it will do some spreading. So mainly I am using this to demonstrate how the spreading happens on a wet surface, so that you can also practice it. Okay, so practice this wet on wet thing and understand the spread that is happening, and try to guess or how the timing of it. That means at what time if you apply certain paint, how much the spread will happen. Those understanding, I think that is very important. Okay, now I'm stopping it. If I do the clouds again, I think it will be too much and it will get bad. Okay, now let us make the land portion. I'm making it little muddy. I'm adding mainly the burnt umber with whatever color already I had in the brush. Okay, the sky color, the cloud color. I'm mixing little bit of burnt umber, maybe little bit more of burnt umber, a touch of burnt sienna, but not significantly. Okay, so you can ignore the burnt sienna, but you can treat it as burnt umber and slightly the sky color, leftover sky color. Okay, and I think this could be a little bit more warmer. I mean, orangish kind of a color. So let us make it slightly more warmer, adding a touch of orange. Okay, it is little bit more warmer, and you understand that watercolors will get dried when watercolors will get lighter when it dries. Okay, so so you have to make that into keep that in your mind that watercolor dries lighter. Okay, so you have to apply the colors slightly more stronger when the paper is wet. Okay, I think this much is good, and let us wait for this to get dried. Okay, This should be dried now, and I am applying some hair dryer to get it dried. Okay, so you can skip this portion. I mean, you can let it naturally dried. Okay, I always prefer drying it naturally. Okay, if you forcefully dry it, the paper may get heated up, and the natural property of the paper may get impacted. Okay, right, now this looks like a reasonably good background with good, I mean, sky and good land. Now we can add some details. This is wet paint on a dry surface, so we can call this as wet on dry. Okay, so I'm using again the same kind of a color, cerulean blue and touch of burnt umber and a touch of crimson. Okay, so this is I'm using the same color to have some kind of a color, kind of a harmony sort of thing. So let us do something at far end. I want to define something at far end, and I want to make it very narrow so that it appear to be at a very far distance. Okay, there is a good amount of good sense of depth. Okay, so some gaps are okay. This is accidentally happened, those gaps have accidentally happened, but I'm leaving it. I'm spreading this and smudging it so that it kind of merges with the sky to a certain extent, and it kind of unites with the sky. Okay, there is some kind of connection established. Okay, some brushwork, dry brushwork, same ground color, slightly darker and thicker. See, the dry brushwork, the brush should be loaded with less color but slightly thicker color, and you can see that we are already getting some depth. Okay, some sense of depth, sense of distance. Okay, so I meant some sense of distance. Okay, this looks good to me. I'm thinking what to do next. You can also pause and think what you would have done if you were painting it. If you had the choice of adding details, pause this video, and I mean, you can imagine what you would add. I have splashed some water in between to make some texture. Okay, again some darker consistency colors. Okay, so I'm thinking we'll use a darker boat, but now I think I will probably use that for splattering some colors here. Okay, to create some more texture. Okay, so I initially thought I would use it for the boat, but I changed my mind to splattering that into the foreground area to create some texture. I don't want to do too much of things in the foreground, so I want to occupy that area, and I am changing my idea that I will use reddish kind of color for the boat. Okay, mainly vermilion red. Okay, and little bit of a dark color, whatever dark you want, you can use it. So some suggestion, I'm placing the main boat here. I don't know if it is the right position, but yeah, I think it will work. See, these are the decisions we are taking on the fly. What element and where to place it, what should be the size of it, all those decisions we are taking on the fly, and we that way we can develop our decision making skills. Okay, we can develop our imagination skills, and we can gradually develop confidence in our ideas. Okay, adding little bit of Payne's gray to that particular color and for the shadow area, and now this looks pretty strong, and you get a good contrast. And I think I will add some more boards. See, we have to consider the perspective, the consideration of perspective. So the farther boards should be smaller in size. Okay, and even smaller, this board should be even smaller, so that we get a good sense of depth. Okay, the good sense of distance. Okay, whenever I say good sense of depth, it is a good sense of distance. Okay, that means the further elements are pushed even farther. I mean, we will get that sense. This looks good. I'm not using too much of colors. So if you like this video, you're finding it informative, please do subscribe and press the bell notification, and please do share it to your artist friends so that they can also take benefit of this video. If you have any questions, suggestions or comments, please write them into the comment box below. I'll be more than happy to come back with my answers. Okay. Now some dark colors for the what do you call it as shadow. So I am assuming that the light is coming from the right area, so the left side shadow is slightly longer. So somewhere from the top right the shadow is coming. Okay, so yeah, it is kind of an evening scene. Okay, so it is the sun is about to set and probably the shadows are longer. So these are some common sense or some idea you should have. I mean, see, even if you imagine and add elements, there are complexities like the size, the perspective, the shadow consistency, the direction of shadow, all those things we should work out. You should think of logically, and you should kind of assume a source of light and then the direction of light, etc. Then you should work out everything in a consistent way. Then only it will be believable. Now I am adding figure using cobalt green color. You have seen that I have picked up cobalt green color. One guy is facing us, standing at the other side of the boat. Okay, and maybe another guy with the same apparels. Okay, so this is fine. Now some darker color figures, some touches. Okay, again, what is important is the size. Okay, the perspective, that is important. So you should consider perspective always. Whenever you add any elements, you should consider perspective. Then only it will be kind of believable, convincing. Okay. Now let us make a couple of more figures. And if you're finding to paint figures directly with the brush, you can always use your pencil. You can practice on a different sheet and then gain confidence. There are too many videos on my channel which is talking about the perspective of figures, the figures, action, etc. So you can go through those and you can practice figures. Okay. Now I think we are pretty much closer to calling it as done. So we have done most of the things. We can add a lot of other things to be frank, but I don't want to make it too much complicated. Now itself I think that it is little bit more complicated. Ideally for this practice watercolors I don't make it this much complicated, but sometimes see we are painting it in an unplanned way. Sometimes we do complicate the things. Okay, right. Some touches of orange for exposed body parts. Okay, maybe some highlighting for the light hitting areas of the boat. And what else? So where should we put some touches of orange? Okay, I don't know where. Maybe he's facing this side. Okay, that's it. I don't want to do too much of orange. Okay, see, the problem is that we tend to do lots and lots of details. We should get rid of that habit. Okay, so don't do too much. If you think it is done, you have to stop it. It is very difficult to get control and stop the painting at the right point. So we should to understand what is the right point. You need to maybe practice a lot. I think these are some white highlights, white watercolor directly picked up from the tube, and I am giving the highlights. Okay, this gives a lot of light and a lot of life and some sense of light also. Okay, so I think that's it. We are done for today, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. You found this video informative. If you find this video as informative, please do write them into the comment box below. See, your comments and your feedback are my motivation. If you don't give any feedback, I may be tempted to assume that the video is not useful, so I may be tempted to get demotivated. So please give the feedback. Please encourage me to paint more. And thank you very much for watching this video. And once again, if you have any questions or comments, suggestions, please do write them into the comment box below. I'll be coming back with my response as early as possible. Once again, please don't forget to share this video to your artist friends, and I'll be happy to see your painted video, and you can send it to me via email. Thank you very much once again, and soon see you with another video.